411 Live.
Where you can learn about issues that impact us every day. State of the world, 411 Live.
Real people, real talk.
Made to help people in our community in every way. For your girl, 411 Live.
Dreams of becoming a homeowner may seem out of reach for some. You know, the high interest rates and, you know, the rampant out-of-state investors that are coming in with cash offers. But what if I told you there are homes becoming available in Milwaukee for prospective buyers with low income? The key is to be ready, to be credit ready, and to be financially ready. Hello, everyone. I'm Beverly Taylor, and this is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. Okay, this is a good one. This is a really good one. So if you have thoughts of becoming a homeowner, to stop renting, to actually lower your monthly payments by becoming a homeowner, this is the podcast for you. My guest is Deatra Kemp, who is Vice President of Program for Axe Housing. Welcome to you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
This topic is so important. And, I mean, you came in and you're, smiling, saying, oh, yeah, I was at a closing. Somebody else. Cha-ching, somebody else is a homeowner. So that is a wonderful thing. Let's talk a little bit about Axe Housing. I mean, what exactly do you guys do?
Axe Housing is a one-stop shop for home ownership. We really have tried to make sure that you have all the things that you need under one roof, no matter where you're starting from, to become a homeowner. So it really starts with education. And for that, we have home buyer coaches. We will assign you to a coach, and that coach is going to look at your credit report, the same credit report a bank is going to look at to approve you for a mortgage, and they're going to really talk you through that report. They're going to tell you exactly what you need to do to get yourself to a point where you can be pre-approved for a home loan. So that's where the toughest work happens and where everything starts with that education process. Once we've gotten you to pre-approval, we have a full real estate brokerage. So if you don't have somebody to help you find that perfect house, we've got somebody to help you with that. We have an option where you can choose to do a purchase and a rehab. And if you choose to do that, we offer lending. And we also offer support through a rehab coach who's going to really walk you through that renovation process, make sure that everything is done properly to code, and you're able to move your family into a really safe home that you've kind of helped make your own.
Yeah, exactly. And that rehab piece, I mean, everything is important.
Sure.
But that rehab piece is really important because, you can get these folks who tell you that they can do this, and they are not skilled at what they actually are doing.
Oh, not only that, you've got people who watch too much HGTV, who go to YouTube University and think that they can do it themselves, and it's harder than it looks.
Yeah.
So definitely, it's really important to us that you have that support because we don't want to just help you get into a home. We want to help you keep that home. We want to make sure that you're in a safe, sustainable, and affordable situation. So if you're going the rehab route, it's so great to have that support to help you understand, okay, let's review this contract together. Let's make sure that the proper permits have been pulled. Even after you finish with your rehab, hopefully you're going to be in your house for a good long time. And if you want to do a bathroom remodel or updates in the future, you're armed with all that education and knowledge of going through that renovation process when you first moved in. So it's a great way to get into home ownership really affordably.
Yeah.
Often our families are purchasing city foreclosed properties that have been boarded up. So they're getting them at a great price, and the majority of their loan is for the actual rehab of that house and getting it into a condition that their family can move into it.
Let's talk about this Metcalfe Park Home Ownership Initiative, right?
Okay.
So, in the intro, I was saying that this is a great way for folks with low income to actually purchase a home. How does this work?
This is a little bit complicated of a program, so bear with me.
Okay.
So you and I, taxpayers in the city of Milwaukee, we help WEDA, Wisconsin Housing Economic Development Association, distribute tax credits to developers to build affordable housing. We did that here in Milwaukee 15 years ago. The city, WEDA, worked with Gorman to develop over 240 single-family scattered site homes. The first group of homes they built were in the Metcalfe area. So the deal was that 15 years after owning these properties, Gorman owning them, they had to offer residents the ability to purchase these homes. So we've come to that 15-year point. We actually came to that 15-year point in 2021.
Okay.
So we've been working in the neighborhood along with the Greater Milwaukee Urban League and Safe and Sound to really inform the residents, hey, do you know that you can purchase this house? And you can purchase this house at a great price that is actually going to have you paying less than what you're paying for rent right now. And these families in these homes right now are paying on average around $1,100 a month. And that doesn't include their We Energies bill and the water bill that they're responsible for as well. So their housing expenses are high. And this is a great opportunity for you to buy the house that you're already living in and be paying a much lower payment. And on top of that, you're not renting. You own it. It's your house. And what's great being part of ACTS and having a lending arm and the ability to go to those families and say, look, you're getting such a great deal on this house that if there are updates or renovations that you want to make to this house, let's talk about that. Let's price that and let's include that in your loan so that you can really make this rental into your home.
Right. Okay. So it's when that house was built by the developer. Okay, that's the 15 years.
Yep.
So we've hit, you mentioned, we've hit that threshold for the homes in the Metcalfe Park area.
Correct.
So, through the 15 years, renter left, came, renter left, came. It's turned over and over and over. So the renter who's in there now may not know, hey, I could actually buy that. So it's a matter of getting that word out, right?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter if you've been there for 3 months, 3 years, 10 years. If you want to buy the house, you have the ability to buy the house.
That's great.
Yep.
That is great. So as people are finding out, have you seen any reactions?
You know what? It's a very diverse set of reactions. It really is. There are people who are like, say less. I absolutely will buy this house. There are other people who say, I don't want to buy a house in this neighborhood. I don't want to live here. And at ACTS Housing, we believe strongly in empowerment. I'm not here to tell you where to live, but my resources are still available for you. So even if you don't want to take advantage of this home ownership opportunity, work with us so you can get yourself positioned for financing so that if there does come a time in your life that you're interested in owning property, you're credit ready and that you have the ability to do that. We had a young lady who was part of this Metcalfe group who did not purchase the home that she was living in. She went on to purchase a home in another neighborhood that she found that she absolutely loved. And I'm just as excited for her as for every other family in Metcalfe that chooses to stay in that house.
Right. Did she work with ACTS Housing to, get herself ready?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So the ones who say, absolutely, I want this, are they ready? Or is it one of those things where we got to massage this a little bit? We got to work on the credit, and we got to...
9 times out of 10, they are not ready. Okay. Now, I will say we definitely encounter families who they're on the grind. They're working every day. They're taking care of their babies at night. They're running errands on Saturday. On Sunday, they're at church, and it's rinse, wash, repeat. And they're paying a whole lot in rent and don't realize that they are credit worthy and can move into home ownership much more quickly than they've ever thought. So I always tell people the first step is see where you stand.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us particularly African Americans in the city of Milwaukee, only 30% of us are homeowners. It's very easy to be part of a friend group where nobody owns a home. And if you are part of a friend group where somebody does own, who's to say they have the time, energy, or patience to mentor you through that process?
Right.
So seeing where you stand, super important, no matter where you're at. Because what I don't like seeing is people feeling like they have to rent. I want everybody to know you have choices.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with renting. It can be the right thing at the right time, but you don't have to sit in a rental dreaming of home ownership. It's something you're capable of, and there are people and places like Axe Housing. Man, it's our privilege to help you get through this process. We get so much joy out of doing this work. We're a group of people who get all the good feels from helping others.
Yeah.
So there are definitely resources for you to get into home ownership if you want to. And a lot of us do need some work. I like to say that most of us have management problems, not money problems. So, we're going to take you from where you are.
Yeah.
And for a lot of families, that means spending time tracking expenses, talking about budgeting, talking about ways that they can save to prepare themselves for home ownership, talking about the things that they didn't even realize they were spending their money on until somebody held them accountable for tracking their expenses. Yeah. And then to have this conversation, it's so funny because I'm like, tell me what you discovered when you tracked your expenses. And it never fails that the head goes down and they're just like, oh my gosh, the money that I'm wasting. Like, I didn't realize I still had this subscription. I didn't realize how much money I was spending eating out or using DoorDash, because DoorDash got me during COVID too. So, we all do those types of things. But when you have a goal in mind and you can have somebody who's really coaching you, supporting you, and taking you through that process, I'm always surprised by our families. Because those that are focused, they move through the process so quickly, and they're so excited.
Yeah, that for anybody, that tracking of expenses can be eye-opening. Yeah, we just kind of let's stop and pick up and.
Convenience will get you every time.
Yeah, it will. Hey, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. There are some other opportunities out there, too. And we also want to talk about why, home ownership, why this is really so important, not just for you, but for your children and, your grandchildren, on and on and on. So I'm talking with Deatra Kemp with Axe Housing. We'll be right back. You're listening to the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. Stay with us.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I feel that I'm not getting the attention that I need, and it's a lot built up in my chest. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundedouttogether.org.
Welcome back to the 411 Live, Real People, Real Talk. We're talking about housing, and Deatra Kemp is with me. Where we left off, we're talking about the Metcalfe Park Home Ownership Initiative. So that's where it starts. Those, the 15 years, that's where they matured to the 15 years.
Yep.
But there are other homes that are in the, behind it, waiting to hit that mark. So how many homes are we talking about?
We are talking about Gorman developing 240 plus of these homes over a 10-year period.
Okay.
So every year we'll see anywhere from 30 to 50 homes come available that were rentals that are now available for home ownership opportunities. So I'm excited about it because it really is an opportunity with just this one project to help close that ownership gap between the Black community and the white community, because the majority of these homes are on the northwest side of Milwaukee. Gorman believes that 100% of the residents are Black.
Wow.
So if I can get even 50% of them to purchase their homes, you're talking about statistically changing Black home ownership rates in this city. And I'll take every percentage point I can get.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Gorman, is that the only developer?
No, we have lots of developments of this type that are going on, that are expiring, that have all different types of contracts. The last time I checked the portfolio, there were around 15,000
Oh my gosh.
in Milwaukee County. So we've got a lot of great work that we can do. We've just got to come together and figure out how to do it really well and make the process streamlined and get this information to the families that are living in these homes.
I mean, this makes me excited. You know, we're talking about 30% of Black home ownership, but this can just change the dynamic here.
Absolutely. And that's what we need to do as a city. You know, we need homeowners. We left off talking about why it's so important to be a homeowner. And it's because when you own a home, you're paying yourself. You're not paying someone else. And when you're paying yourself, that's something that you can leave to your children. When you're renting, if something happens to you, they're going to give your family 30 days notice to come and get your stuff.
Right. Yeah.
When you're a homeowner, something happens to you. If you've planned, you can have that mortgage being paid off by the insurance, so your family's not in a situation where they're trying to figure out how to pay the mortgage. What comes along with home ownership is all that planning and organizing around your financials. So these are the households that we see where, yeah, there's been some estate planning that happened. So I could make sure my property doesn't go into probate and my children have a home that is paid for.
Yeah.
How much easier does that make life after a loss? When you're not worried about all the financial things, when you're not worried about where are we going to live, instead of just focusing on healing and getting through the grieving process, you've got to worry about where are we going to sleep, where are we going to eat, how are we going to deal with this loss of income from this person. And it's always tragic to see within our community.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So I always tell people I want a situation where we're not having to do GoFundMe pages to bury our people.
Yeah.
And they're not leaving behind carnage because there were so many people relying on them who now are in a bad situation.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And then I think, you know, you talk about generational wealth too, and I think about all the things that you can do if you're a homeowner and you pay your mortgage, you're consistent with it. You're building equity in the house. You know, the daughter is getting married. You need to pull a little money out for that, or
Absolutely.
you pull a little for the college education.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much.
Home ownership is stability, and that's why it's stability. It's funny because some of my friends, their first home was their grandma's house. Now, and it wasn't a situation where grandma passed away. Grandma was going down to Florida to live her best life. She gave you a great price on that house and took that money and went down and is living somewhere on a golf course, enjoying the sun, and that's her retirement money. But it was still a great price for you on a house.
Yes.
That you know has been taken care of, and it keeps that property in the family.
Yeah.
And now you, that young person in that house, 30, 40 years from now, you have the ability to do the same thing. So you're talking about generations of a family being in a sustainable and affordable housing situation, even if they're selling the house to each other. Never mind if you've actually been gifted the house or left the house as an inheritance. Well, now all you're doing is paying your taxes and upkeep and maintenance on a house that is owned free and clear. And that's when you're talking about your housing expenses. Imagine your housing expenses being $300 a month and you live in a house because it's paid for and all you're worried about is your taxes and your utilities. That's when you can live your best life.
Amen to that one. Amen to that one. Okay. So if somebody wants to, they're thinking about, they're listening to us, and now they're saying, hey, I want to be a homeowner. They want that education that Axe Housing provides. What do they need to do?
The best thing to do to connect with Axe Housing is to go to our website. It's actshousing.org. We have a virtual orientation where you can actually register for the program. You can do that any time of day and night because we know people are busy. After you've gone through the virtual orientation process, just give us a call and say, hey, I need to be scheduled with a coach so I can figure out how to become a homeowner. And we will guide you through that process. We'll get you scheduled, and you're off and running. I will say, too, that ACTS isn't the only agency that offers those education services around building your credit, getting yourself to the point that you can be pre-approved. There are other HUD-certified agencies in the city that provide that same type of education. They're not the full one-stop shop that ACTS is, but definitely they are doing great work in the city, educating folks and getting them to the point where at least they can be pre-approved for a mortgage.
Yeah, I'm sure there are enough people interested to spread it around, right?
Absolutely. I don't want to see not one of those agencies not around
Yeah.
because we wouldn't be able to handle the volume. Listen, 80% of people who are renting would rather be homeowners.
Yeah.
They're just not sure how to go about it. So what you need to know is that there are people and places who want to support you through that process. I think sometimes, especially as Americans, we hear that, oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do it yourself. And I don't like that. I always tell people that if you were supposed to know and do everything yourself, God would have made us all knowing, all seeing, and all doing. He didn't.
No, he didn't.
He made us so that we need each other. So, be humble enough to say, I'm going to sit down with an expert and go over my finances, which nobody likes to do. I get it. But that's the cost.
Yeah.
That's the price of being an owner and being in a position where you're not having to ask somebody if you can get a pet for your kids.
Right.
You're not having to ask somebody, can you paint a wall? So you feel a little bit more comfortable when you come home from work. A lot of us are carrying around the burdens of renting without even realizing it. I hear home ownership too often equated to freedom.
Yeah.
Because people who go from renting to owning, they're like, I'm free. This is my house. I can do whatever I want. I can paint that wall. I can move things around. And the freedom that comes with being able to go pick your flooring, pick the things that you want for your own home so that when you walk in after a long day of work, you really feel like this is mine, this is my space.
Right. We have this, we were inundated, and maybe we still are, inundated with these out-of-state investors coming in, making cash offers, gobbling up our housing stock. Because I know ACTS Housing, you're dealing with people who are looking at houses outside of this home ownership initiative, these other homes too.
Yes.
So is that still going on, whereas these investors are gobbling up homes?
I would like everyone to take a moment and ask yourself why there are people from the East Coast and the West Coast who have circled Milwaukee on a map and said they want to buy up property here. It is because we are one of the few cities that are still very affordable. And of course, at ACTS, we want to see families taking advantage of that affordability, not out-of-state investors. So that's why it's so important that we're having these conversations and we're telling people to start thinking about home ownership, because I strongly believe that Milwaukeeans should own Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And not people who have no interest here. If I'm not driving past the house I own, I don't have to care how it looks or what impact it has on other people in the neighborhood. So yes, we definitely have investors who are looking at our city and seeing opportunities for profit. I think that we've done a great job collectively over the last year or so, really exposing them. So we are starting to see a decline in their purchases, but they've purchased thousands of properties in this city. And we do need to figure out how to get those back and get those into the hands of homeowners. So our answer to that at ACTS Housing was to create ACTS Homes, which is another division of ACTS. And what they do is we're looking to buy up properties that we can then fix up and make available to families in our pipeline, move-in ready, affordably, or we can present them to families who are interested in a rehab and say, hey, this is another potential home that you could rehab, and we'll support you through that process.
Wow, that's good. That's good. We had talked briefly before in land trust.
Yes.
Homes. What is that?
Listen, I need everybody to know that, like, your city officials, your county officials, even the state officials, they care about affordable housing. They care about this issue. And I can say that with confidence because all of this ARPA and COVID money that has come into the system, they are pouring that money into affordable housing solutions. So I've been really excited the last couple of years and really trying to prepare families over the last couple of years for all the great things that the city has to offer. We finally have a land trust. And most major cities have a land trust. It's just a different ownership model that's designed to keep a home affordable. So we've got the Milwaukee Community Land Trust that is purchasing and renovating these homes from root to tooth. They're absolutely beautiful. I've walked through a couple of them, and then they're selling them for $80,000. I need you to know that that's like a $750, $800 mortgage. That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Great opportunities to purchase. We've got 100 Homes MKE, where a lot of these boarded up houses that you drive past, you wonder, why hasn't somebody grabbed them? Why isn't somebody fixing them up? It's because the cost to repair them is more than what the house itself is worth.
Oh, wow.
So Homes MKE is subsidizing the repair of those houses and saying, okay, even though we know maximum we could sell this for is $150, we're going to put the $200,000 of work that this house needs, and we're still going to make it available for that $150 price point. So there are some great opportunities. It's about positioning yourself to be able to take advantage of them by getting yourself educated, getting yourself pre-approved. And then the great thing about working with an agency like ACTS is that we know all of this stuff, and we're able to bring that knowledge to our families because, hey, we can be picky. We've got folks who are just like, okay, yeah, I know. I like to say you have Northside money and River Hill dreams. But I'm not mad at my queen who wants that house that's almost like a new build and, you know, doesn't want to come in and have to do a bunch of work. And those are the type of homes that you're going to get through the 100 Homes MKE project.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely worth learning about the things that are happening around the city because we need our residents to become homeowners. We need them to own the city.
It can turn around neighborhoods.
It absolutely turns around neighborhoods.
Turns around neighborhoods. All right, so we're about to run out of time, but I mean, the big takeaway for me, there are homes out there. The other big takeaway is to get prepared. Get yourself ready.
Yes.
So do what you need to do right now to get credit ready financially.
Yep.
You know, get all the education stuff you need so you're ready to jump.
Yes. And I like to say, don't talk yourself out your own blessings. We're so good at that. Somebody's sitting at home right now saying, oh, my credit is too messed up. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. Stop. Stop putting those barriers in front of yourself. Talk to an expert because I bet it's not as bad as you think.
There you go. All right. Well, Deatra Kemp, you have been a wealth of information. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, from ACTS Housing. People, look that up on the website. Fill out whatever. Look at the virtual whatever that's there.
Virtual orientation.
Virtual orientation.
ACTShousing.org. That's ACTS housing.org.
There you go. Thank you, Deatra. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining us for another episode of the 411 Live, where we talk to positive people who are making a positive difference in our city. We are a nonprofit organization. Go to our website, the411live.org, and learn more about us. Until next time, I'm Beverly Taylor. This is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. God bless. If you would like to check out past episodes, there are many ways. Go to your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Like and watch us on Facebook. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, go to our website, the411live.org.